Owning a second home in France is many people's dream, and it's easy to see why. A quiet village, long summers, good food, eating outside with friends and family, and maybe even a swimming pool. It's your own haven of peace to escape to from all the chaos and everyday life of back home. But sometimes when you look online and hear different anecdotal stories, some people can make it sound like a house-shaped headache that even an aspirin the size of Corsica couldn't fix. And for those who do make some of the costly mistakes, that dream can soon turn into a nightmare. In today's video, I want to break down the practicalities of what it's actually like owning a second home in France, sharing some insight to help make sure that it ends up being the dream lifestyle that you're looking for, rather than something far more complicated that makes you lose sleep and burns a hole in your pocket, so that you can enjoy your second home in France, sitting in the evening sun, enjoying a nice glass of wine with your partner without a worry in the world. The reality of distance and maintenance. Of course, one of the biggest factors with owning a second home in France is that most of the time you're not actually going to be there. Which of course sounds obvious, but in practice it's something that many people underestimate. Even a well-kept property still needs attention. You can't hit the pause button on the lawn growing. Old buildings also don't stay exactly as you left them, and there could be small issues that snowball if the house is left unattended for too long. A lot of people realise this through trial and error. They may come back after a few months and find things like damp starting to appear from the lack of ventilation in the house, or that the outdoor spaces have simply become really overgrown, which can happen quite quickly. And be sure to turn the water off before leaving the house during the winter months. Visits over to your second home often end up combining relaxation with a little bit of practical upkeep, which can be part of the fun for some. If the property is in a more rural area, which is often the case with secondary homes, then even, something simple in theory like finding a tradesman, fixing repairs, are some things that do need consideration. I do advise finding someone local who's on the ground most of the year, if not the whole year, that can help with the little things when you're not there at the house, and keep an eye on the place too. Even if that's a friendly neighbour that you gift a nice bottle of wine for their efforts, or it could be someone who specialises in property management as well, depending on your personal requirements. Speaking of someone to keep an eye out for you, today's video is in partnership with Incogni, I'm pleased to announce. Incogni is the service that helps remove your personal data from data brokers online who collect and sell your personal information. So when these data brokers have your email, your phone number, your home address even, this opens up the floodgates to endless spam calls, targeted scams, and unwanted junk mail, and potentially worse. Incogni will contact these data brokers on your behalf and request that your personal information is removed. I've been using Incogni now for over a year, and as someone who often opts out from accepting cookies when I can, I was shocked to find that 83 different data brokers had my information. Thanks to Incogni, it's been removed from all of their platforms. Using my special link down below in the description and also added as the pinned comment. So just click on the link, then click collect your gift, and you will get 58% off their annual plans. And this is only for a limited time offer. So if you're like me and you value your privacy online, especially when it comes to relocating internationally or signing up to lots of different services, or even going on websites such as Le Bon Coin where you're looking at different properties, it's definitely something worth checking out. The hidden costs of ownership. The cost of owning a home in France doesn't just end when you complete the purchase. There are also running costs to be considered in your budget as well. You've got the local property taxes, which in French are called la taxe foncière, and this amount varies due to the size of the property and the commune in which it's located. Then of course you have the insurance, the utilities, and the cost of the property maintenance. So this probably isn't new information to you. However, a small mistake that you could get away with back home, for example leaving the window open for a couple of hours, when you do that with a holiday home and you're not there for several months at a time, that mistake could end up costing you hundreds if not thousands of euros. I would also suggest thinking about what kind of property is best suited for you. Somewhere that's not too big or with too much land generally works better for a property that's a secondary home. So it's something you also need to be mindful of when you're budgeting. But of course, the main consideration with a secondary home is that it's your own private sanctuary. It's your home away from home, a nice place to spend some quality moments with your loved ones. And you just don't get that with different types of vacations, such as staying in a hotel or an Airbnb. And also, if you buy savvy, you could be making a sound investment. Some even rent their property out for sections of the year, which covers costs and can return some profit as well. So owning a secondary home certainly doesn't have to be a money pit if you plan wisely. The reality of distance from the property. Depending on your home country, you're probably going to be a flight away or a long drive combined with the Eurotunnel or a ferry trip as well. So this means that you can't just pop over on a Tuesday evening if you think that you might have left a window open, for example. This means that the travel time has to be factored in and considered into your trip. And if you only have 4 days off, for example, spending 2 of those days travelling can take the shine off the trip. You could say that this is the case with any short trip, but when you own the place, that distance carries a different type of weight as well. So if you're staying in a hotel and a storm rolls through the area that you're staying in, it's not really your responsibility other than packing an umbrella with you. But when it's your roof and you're hundreds of miles away back home, a bad weather report in France can make your stomach drop. You can't just nip from around the corner to check if you've closed the shutters. The distance means that the first 24 hours of your trip can be spent doing different tasks, such as turning the water back on, airing out the rooms, and getting the house back into shape rather than immediately jumping in the pool and relaxing. But I think managing the distance is basically all about mindset and preparation. A savvy owner turns the journey into part of the holiday. So that could be taking a scenic road trip if you're driving over from the UK, for example. And it's worth pointing out, with modern technology, the distance isn't what it used to be. From smart security cameras and remote controlled heating to having that reliable contact we mentioned earlier on, checking in on your home can be done from your phone whilst you're back home sitting on the sofa in your living room. The journey over becomes a sort of exciting transition from your busy daily routine towards your French sanctuary. I would say practice due diligence. Don't just rely on what the agent tells you when you're viewing the property. Don't purchase before viewing. Don't hire unlicensed tradesmen to do the work on your property. Do research the process. Do visit the local area before buying. And do consider hiring the help of a professional with experience in French property, especially if you haven't bought property in France before. Make sure to protect yourself up front. Buy well and don't underestimate the amount of work that may need doing to a property. Do this so you can enjoy the rewards later down the line, because the seeds of a potential nightmare are often sown at the point of purchase. Because once all the paperwork has been completed and the logistics are sorted out, all that's left to do is enjoy your dream lifestyle in your new French home. It's your own private sanctuary, your own little piece of heaven where time slows down, the food tastes better, and you can truly escape from the rat race. Don't let the fear of the process stop you from getting your own slice of paradise. Do it right, buy savvy, and make your dream a reality. If you are planning on a move to France, you can download my free guide to buying French property at www.frenchpropertyguide.com and signing up to my newsletter. On my website, I offer property finding services, relocation consultations, and also help navigating the French administration side of things and obtaining certain documents. If you are looking to buy a holiday home in France, please let me know down in the comments which area you're looking for. And if you do own a secondary home in France as well and you're watching this video, please do feel free to share your insights with the community. So if you did enjoy this video, please hit the thumbs up, it helps out with the algorithm, and subscribe for more content like this on French property. And I'm Tom, this is the French Property Guide channel, and I'll see you next time.